How childhood trauma affects health. Across a lifetime, childhood experiences shape us in profound ways. But what happens when those experiences involve trauma? Today, we'll explore how childhood trauma can affect not just mental health, but physical health across an entire lifetime. If you or someone you know has faced childhood adversity, this video will help unpack the science, the stories, and the hope for healing. Let's get started. 1. Defining childhood trauma. Childhood trauma refers to adverse experiences during early development, events like abuse, neglect, or witnessing violence. These events can disrupt a child's sense of safety and security. Examples of childhood trauma: physical, emotional, or sexual abuse, neglect or abandonment, witnessing domestic violence, living with a parent struggling with mental illness or substance abuse, divorce or loss of a parent. These experiences, often referred to as adverse childhood experiences or ACEs, can leave a lasting impact on a person's health and well-being. But how? That's what we'll break down next. 2. The ACEs study. In the late 1990s, researchers conducted a groundbreaking study called the ACEs study. It surveyed over 17,000 adults, asking about their childhood experiences and current health. The results were shocking. The study found that the more ACEs a person experienced, the higher their risk of serious health problems later in life. These included heart disease, diabetes, depression, and even cancer. For example, a person with 4 or more ACEs was 2.5 times more likely to develop chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, COPD, 2 times more likely to suffer from heart disease, and 4.5 times more likely to experience depression. 3. The science of trauma and the brain. Why does trauma have such a big impact? It starts with the brain. When a child experiences trauma, their brain goes into survival mode, activating the fight-or-flight response. The amygdala, the brain's alarm system, becomes overactive. Meanwhile, the prefrontal cortex, responsible for decision-making and self-control, doesn't develop as it should. This imbalance can leave a lasting imprint on how we handle stress. Overactive stress response, impaired emotional regulation, difficulty concentrating and learning. But the effects aren't just mental. Trauma changes how the body functions too. Let's talk about the stress response system. The body keeps the score. One of the most famous books on trauma is called The Body Keeps the Score, and for good reason. Trauma affects the nervous system, the immune system, and even our DNA. Key effects: chronic inflammation. Trauma triggers the release of stress hormones like cortisol. Over time, this can lead to inflammation, which is linked to diseases like diabetes and arthritis. Weakened immune system. Trauma can suppress immune function, making people more vulnerable to infections. Epigenetic changes. Studies show trauma can actually change how genes are expressed, meaning its effects can be passed down to future generations. Trauma literally lives in the body, but the story doesn't end here, because healing is possible. 5. Breaking the cycle of trauma. If childhood trauma can affect health for a lifetime, how do we stop the cycle? The answer lies in understanding, connection, and intervention. Tip 1. Seek therapy. Therapies like cognitive behavioral therapy, CBT, and eye movement desensitization and reprocessing, EMDR, have been shown to help people process and heal from trauma. Tip 2. Practice self-care. Mindfulness practices, regular exercise, and healthy sleep habits can help reset the stress response system. Tip 3. Build strong relationships. Healthy relationships are key to healing. A supportive community can buffer the effects of trauma and promote resilience. 6. Resilience and hope. Here's the good news. Humans are incredibly resilient. With the right tools and support, it's possible to not just survive, but thrive, even after childhood trauma. Positive role models, access to mental health resources, a sense of purpose. Resilience isn't something you're born with. It's something you can build, and every step you take toward healing matters. 7. Resources and action steps. If you're ready to take the first step toward healing, here are some resources to check out. Books: The Body Keeps the Score by Dr. Bessel van der Kolk. Childhood Disrupted by Donna Jackson Nakazawa. Helplines: National Helpline and Crisis Text Line. Remember, reaching out for help isn't a sign of weakness, it's a sign of strength. Childhood trauma can feel like a heavy burden, but it doesn't have to define your life. Healing is a journey, and every small step you take is progress. If you found this video helpful, please like, share, and subscribe to help us spread awareness. And let's keep the conversation going, and thanks for watching, and take care of yourselves.